What's going on, guys? It's your guy Don Rico back with another video post game review about the Dolphins. Hey man, let's get it in, man. To everybody that's enjoying my content, enjoying my insight, please press the like and subscribe, man. Help me get myself off the ground. I'm trying to do it for you guys. Everybody that love the Miami Dolphins just like me. Hey man, let's do it. Well, let's get into it, man. Today, I was gonna drop this video in the morning, but I gotta do it now. So, basically, today's post game review is the Miami Dolphins versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, which turned out for Dolphin fans. I know. Well, ain't much to say, but we lost today, 20-30 to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and I could tell you the truth, I didn't even. I watched a lot of the game and I didn't watch a lot of the game. But, I saw some good things and I saw some bad things, just like it's every week, you know what I mean? But I'm just going to really, give my insight, man, and, go ahead and do what I do. But, well, basically what I saw in today's game, man, I saw a little something different from the offense. The offense was moving the ball. They was taking They was doing things today. They was taking shots down the field, a lot of big plays early in the game. The offense was moving the ball, but we had some bonehead mistakes again. You know what I mean? Again, more penalties. I think we had like 17 penalties today. That was terrible. Lack of discipline, and I'm starting to think that the team is kind of like shut it down right now. At this point, right now, and we was not even playing Jameis Winston in this game. We were playing Ryan Fitzpatrick. You know what I mean? And this guy already has a winning record against us. I don't know why, but he does. And today he was able to get it done again with a late fourth quarter drive after we tied the game up. And, those guys came out and they responded. And, I think the last play of the game was Jakeem Grant on the kickoff return when they tried to do the little flickeroo, fumbleroo, whatever, pass the ball around, and he got too close to the goal line, and then he threw the ball, and it was fumbled, and they recovered in the end zone. They got another cheap touchdown. But, yeah, man, basically my review of that game, man, again, like I said, I saw some good things from the offense, and it was exciting again, you know what I'm saying, kind of reminded me of last year. This game kind of reminded me of one of those games last year, like, that game against Arizona or, San Francisco, but we won those games, you know what I mean? But this year we wasn't able to get it done. And first of all, I'm going to go into Jay Cutler. Man, that guy was terrible today. And the thing I'm seeing right now is I listened to Gase after the game. I listened to his conference, his post-game conference, and I wanted to him kind of like, call out Jay Cutler a bit, maybe because I'm a fan and I just really was upset, but Cutler's play today was terrible. And I think for Adam Gase not to recognize that, as he done with other players on the team earlier this year or even in the past, in the past, like last year, man, Cutler went out there basically really just doing what Cutler does. You know what I'm saying? Somebody had said an interesting quote, not a quote, but somebody said something interesting to me, and it was like, man, Cutler gonna give you 6 or 7 games of just bull crap. You know what I mean? That crazy just, doing what he did today, and he probably give you one of those games where he'll eat you up, but when he eats you up, he gonna eat you up. You know what I'm saying? But then he gonna give you a bunch of that, what we saw today, and today his play was like, you know what I mean, he made some good throws today. At the same time, I think he got hurt. It was only right, though, that they put Matt Moore. What a perfect time for him to get hurt. Not saying, I hope he's okay and things like that. Not saying that I wanted him to be hurt. I'm saying what a perfect time. He was having a bad game, and then he's not coming out in the halftime. Kind of surprising. You know what I mean? Matt Moore, again, had to come in and try to bring us from behind, which he almost did. You know what I'm saying? He came out and had some spectacular throws and, had played with that fire, that passion. One thing about Matt Moore is he's reliant He's reliable. He's not Brett Favre or anybody like that. You know what I mean? He gonna win you some games. He might lose you some games, just like any quarterback will. You know what I mean? In this league, NFL is a hard place to get by, and sometimes, man, the game gets away from you in certain games. You know what I mean? But today, Matt Moore almost put it out. I don't really have anything really to say about Matt. The receivers played good. I think Kenny Stills, man, his numbers was monster today. I think he had like 7 catches for 180 yards and a touchdown. Jarvis Landry had a big game. I'm not sure of his stats. I should have looked those up before I got on here. Like I said, I was supposed to do this in the morning. But he also played good today. He scored another touchdown. But again, we didn't come out with the win. And this was the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Like, this was a game we were saying, man, we was going to get this. We really needed to get this. And this, if we would have won this game, it would have really gave us, some motivation to continue to, have something to play for the season. Now you hear things like, should we tank? Or are we tanking? And things of that nature right now. And I don't know, because I seen Buffalo getting their butt whooped. I don't know what the playoffs is looking like right now, what the picture is looking like. I got to take a look at that, when I get off of here. But, with Buffalo getting their butt handed to them today, I think we still have a chance. So that's crazy. But at the same time, we got a tough road to go up ahead of us. We got to go up to New England next week, against Tom Brady and them. And those guys are already on the road. We saw what they did to the Raiders. And that was crazy. I'm going to do a little video before that preview. You know what I'm saying? A pregame video for you guys. You know what I mean? But anyway, back to this game here. And so at the end of the game, the press conference, and Gase, if you a real sports fan, you watching the game the way I watch the game. Like I say, I film the games and I'm watching it, myself. And after I watch it and I get rid of it, let me just state that. Make sure I ain't breaking the law or nothing like that. You know what I mean? We got the little TiVo thing on here so I don't miss games, but I also get to look at it. But anyway, as I listen to the post game, because I'm always interested in that, especially when we lose like that, because I definitely want to hear what the coaches, what the players got to say about that. Because sometimes I'm just into it like that, because you got to explain. When you put out a performance like that, I got to hear tell me what was going on, what was in your head. So, you know what I mean? So Gase came out there, and, I was really hoping that he would have, kind of, hey, man, but, I don't know if it's because him and Cutler have that friendship, you know what I'm saying, or whatever, but he's really been protecting this guy, you know what I mean? And at the same time, Cutler has not been like awful, but today he was awful. You know what I mean? He's had some bad games this year where I feel like, Gase could have, maybe he does, scold him, maybe not in the public eye, but at the same time, that's not good treatment, because you just scolded the whole team a couple weeks ago, even traded one of the players, which I thought was a little harsh. You know what I mean? So, even with the Ray Margaluga thing, we had that going down. I think he got arrested for choking someone at a nightclub down here in Miami. And we just released him. This no tolerance act, which is, I'm cool with that, because, you can't be out there choking people and things of that nature, man. That's crazy. But, the thing of it, though, we've been just like, it's been such, like I said, the last video, soap opera. Every week is something, you know what I mean? So I think a number of things have taken a toll on this team. And so at the same time, for me being an optimistic fan, but at the same time a realistic fan, when Tannehill went down in training camp, I had kind of already in the back of my mind had like, oh man, you know what I mean? Because Tannehill was playing at such a high level at the end of the year last year before he got hurt. I was seeing the potential. I saw it. I saw, oh man, the game is slowing down. In that game against Arizona before he got hurt, he threw, 3 first half touchdowns. It wasn't even halftime yet. He had already thrown 3 touchdowns in that game. And he was throwing another pass before they hit him. I think somebody caught that ball, if I'm not mistaken. But anyway, so I think that, he was getting comfortable with Adam Gase, and and they was finding some rhythm. You know what I mean? We was winning games. If you guys don't believe me, man, go back and look at Tannehill's 2016 highlights and see for yourself. I mean, I'm not saying he went out there and he was Tom Brady in it, but I think he was top 5 in plays of 25 yards or better. You know what I mean? If you look at, they talking about he don't got big accuracy and a big arm. If you go and look at those highlights, you got to be kidding me. In the pocket presence, you know how he stays in the pocket. He'll take the hit sometimes unnecessarily, because you don't want your quarterback getting hit. But that's just the toughness and the resilience of Ryan Tannehill. And a lot of fans, they don't understand that. You know what I mean? They see, oh, he didn't win the playoff games. Man, it's a whole team out there. You know what I mean? If he don't have the right, if he throw a pass and the receiver drop the ball, because statistically, Tannehill has been. He's been good as anybody statistically. If you had put a real team around him in the beginning, not to say that players that we had in the past, all those players wasn't good, but, a lot of times we didn't have committed players, or committed to the process. We had coaches come and go, offensive linemen come and go, offensive coordinators come and go. For a young quarterback that's trying to grasp the NFL, especially coming from a receiver, if you can't get somebody to grow with you and build confidence with you, how can you really, every year you changing? All right, let's say you're learning West Coast offense once you get drafted. Then the next year your team gets rid of the offensive coordinator or the coach, and now you're running you're running spread offense now. You know what I mean? So it's crazy when you're switching it up so much. And he still was putting up good numbers. At the same time, the team was not as bad as it was now. We wasn't you know what I mean? But at the same time, he was doing a good job, and he was maintaining. You know what I mean? We just didn't have a good O-line. Remember, he was one of the most sacked quarterbacks in the league at that time, and still was before he got hurt. So, you know what I mean? And another thing, with him being, sidelined, we really see, oh, man, if you don't have a real functioning quarterback, which we already know because since Dan Marino been gone, we've been searching for a guy, and Tannehill kind of came in and fulfilled that spot. I'm not saying he Dan Marino, but right now you name me, some guys that's kind of that better than Tannehill. That's because these guys that you finna name, they ain't going nowhere. They gonna be with their teams. Guys are talking about Alex Smith. I like Alex Smith, but just not over Ryan Tannehill. That's just me. You know what I mean? And that's the way I see it. But watching this game here, it just shows it's like Matt and Ryan Tannehill have a great relationship. So those receivers also know that. Matt's been there since Jarvis got there, since Ryan got there. Those guys know each other pretty well. So of course, Ryan and Matt is gonna have a good rapport with those receivers. That's why when he comes in, sometimes they have big games because they have that rapport. They've been around for a long time. These guys ain't just got around each other. A lot of them. You know what I mean? So a lot of that is chemistry. And Jay Cutler, come here, think about this. Jay Cutler is getting $10 million for 1 year, basically he doesn't really have to win or do nothing. He's not. And if you look at Jay Cutler, and at the same time, this demeanor, and Stephen A. used to really go in on Jay Cutler, man. And I used to wonder, why does he do this to Jay Cutler so hard, man? He really harsh. You know what I'm saying? Jay Cutler, at the same time, he, like I said, he had some games where he played all right, but at the same time, sometimes that demeanor that he carried when you going through things like this, it's not a good thing. So, because people make assumptions. And sometimes those assumptions could be wrong, and sometimes they can be right on. And so my assumption is, when you look at Jay Cutler, especially at today's game before he got injured, hope he's okay. Let me state that. If you think about his situation, he comes in $10 million, for 1 year, with a guy he's familiar with, $10 million. And you can tell, before the rush get to him, he throws the ball off his back foot, or he's throwing it awkwardly because he's not really trying to get hit. Really, if you think about that, think about it. I'm about to, this is the last year I'm going to get $10 million. I ain't trying to get crumbled before I go out of here. You know what I mean? If I throw a couple good passes, cool. I'll try all that. But if I ain't taking a hit, you know what I mean? So that's what I see. A guy that's really I'm down, but at the same time, not trying to get drove into it. And not to say because he's been hit. You know what I mean? Sometimes I've seen him, scramble and do things, but at the same time, I just don't see that passion in him that's like he's gonna like block down the field for the receiver if he have to, anything like that. He's not gonna do anything like that. Once he makes the completion, he's good, which is cool. You don't want your quarterback really running down the field, but those are the type of passionate guys that you want to have on your team. And I think like even when Ryan went down last year, when you saw in that game when he came out, and if you guys remember against Arizona, him and Jarvis Landry, they had a talk on the bench, and you could tell, that's chemistry. You can't just put anybody to come in there and replace that. You know what I mean? That's serious business. You have to really like understand what that was, and they was just really breaking into something after being down so many years. He was finding himself, and I know that was disheartening because the team went to the playoffs and we lost, and he was on the sideline knowing that, dang, I could have made a difference. I could have probably made a difference if I was out there. You know what I mean? And I know that's hard because we just started winning. You've been losing so much. Everybody been so hard on you, and you good. You know what I'm saying? So now once I start winning, what can they say now? Now you get injured. And then now that he did, even what he did last year, people still, they don't see that. Like, they thought Jay Cutler was just going to come in here, or anybody else would just come in here and just, oh man, we're going to put a quarterback in here. The thing about it is we were so because when we got Jay Cutler here, people were still thinking, oh, we still going to be doing, but at the same time, we didn't think about, like, did we understand that this is a franchise quarterback that's been here for 5 or 6 years. He's been here, with these guys. This ain't finna be an easy process. You know what I mean? This might not go as smooth as we think, but we didn't really look at it like that because a lot of the fans thought, oh, Tannehill ain't that good. You could just stick somebody in there and it'll be good, which you can't just do that. You know what I mean? If you go back and look at those highlights, you will definitely see the difference between now and our offense this year and our offense last year. You know what I'm saying? When Matt Moore came in last year, the only thing changed about the offense and the games that he won was his really scrambling ability. But he was still slinging the ball. Tannehill was doing the same thing. He took a lot of dink and dunks because that was what Adam Gase's offense is about. Quick passes. You see what they're doing now, passes to the running back to stop the blitz. Because we was getting blitz, like I said last video, guys, blitzers on every down, but when you got receivers flanking out to the left and right, catching quick passes, that slows that down because now the linebackers can't just blitz. They got to, stick the running backs and things like that. So, if you know football like that. But yeah, my like I was getting into that situation, people thought they could just stick somebody in there and it was going to be all good, but that's not what happened. And as we can see, right now, I'm looking at it kind of like a lost season at this point. Like I say, optimistic says you want them to win out, but, realism says this team is not what we thought it was in the beginning of the year without Ryan Tannehill. You know what I mean? Because that was a key. If you think about it, think about this. Ryan Tannehill and Jay Ajayi was, a big part of what the Dolphins did last year. They was a big part of their offense. Tannehill threw a lot of touchdowns. Ajayi ran for a lot of touchdowns and yardage. When you take those two pieces out, think about it. Think about what they accumulated last year, and then when you take those out, and not to say because Ajayi was here, he still had a couple of good games where I thought, I think if Tannehill was here, Ajayi would still be here, and they would still be formulating better because Tannehill was smart. That's why Ajayi, he relied on Tannehill a little bit. He can't really rely on Cutler because Cutler probably not that type of guy really where he's communicating with those guys. He's here to go. He's going to do his job and you do your job. But Tannehill was a guy that's, hey, man, doing almost that Peyton Manning approach. And that's kind of like, that's when you start seeing that, okay, this guy really cares. And I used to hear all the stories about Tannehill used to be the first guy in, the first guy out. Still. You know what I mean? So, anyway, next year, hope, RT comes back better than ever, get well soon, Mr. Tannehill. But, well, we lost today to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Again, sloppy penalties everywhere. Man, well, I don't even know what else to say. It's just really disheartening at this point, at this moment. Like I said, we got some tough games ahead of us. We got New England next week, and then we I think, is it Buffalo or is it Denver? It might be Denver, and then we're back again, New England, and then it's Buffalo, then it's Kansas City, then it's Buffalo again. So we got a tough road ahead of us, and I don't know, man. You know what I mean? But at this point, you know, just hope that we can muster out something of this. You know what I mean? The AFC looks kind of crazy, so who knows? Any type of thing can happen. You know what I mean? Again, optimistic self saying that, but hey, man. Again, man, this your boy Don Rico doing another post game review of the Tampa Bay versus the Miami Dolphins. Hey, man, press that like, subscribe. If you're feeling my content and want to share some of your insight, yo, man, let's do it. Hit me up in the comments. Let's do it.